I've gone on record as saying I prefer an iPhone. Even made a whole video stating the reasons why I use an iPhone. And usually when I'm using whatever the current gen iPhone is, I'm usually double phoning it. I've got another device in my pocket that's Android. Whether it's OnePlus, Samsung, or a Pixel, I always have something else with me. But as we get to the tail end of this iPhone XS life cycle, probably like a lot of you, I gotten bored. Looking at the same stuff, the same performance levels, the same everything with the iPhone. And I started using a second phone more and more, and it kind of got me thinking, it's probably time to take the SIM card out of the iPhone and put it into an Android device and use that as my primary phone full time. Like I said, I've been using Android in some version since the very first version of Android, the OGG1, and I've seen it evolve, and Android offers a ton of amazing things. The reasons that I keep sticking with the iPhone are kind of things that I'm worried that I might miss here. So AirDrop, we use AirDrop a ton around the studio. iMessage, I know it's sort of an old tired thing now, but I do use iMessage all the time. And I generally have an Apple Watch with me and on me. So sort of the elegant experience of the Apple Watch, I'm gonna move things over to use the TicWatch. Hopefully that one sort of will be nullified and I'll still have the notifications on my wrist. But those are sort of the big ones that I'm gonna miss, aside from photos and sharing photos with my grandparents who only have an iPhone. Google Photos is a really awesome alternative to that, and in some ways even better. So those are my big ones that I'm gonna miss. And I think over time, once I break out of that walled garden, I think it's gonna be nice to dance in the free flowers. So here's the backstory. It's kind of why I started thinking about this. We put out a video that was what I wanted the iPhone 11 to be. In a dream world based on tech that exists today, what would I want that phone to have? And it was things like an in-screen fingerprint reader. I'd want camera options, so different lenses on the back. I want a beautiful Samsung made screen since Samsung does make the iPhone displays. I wanted USB Type-C. And I saw it in the comments and I kind of realized it too as I was going over that list. That phone exists. This is a Note 10 Plus. And as I was making that list on the iPhone 11, I realized that pretty much everything is here, and there's a lot of stuff in the Note and Android world in general that I've really been missing and longing in my general Apple-loving heart that I think is gonna be pretty sweet. So first, on the camera side, bunch of different lenses. I'm super excited to have that. When I've used other Android devices, it's been sort of one of my favorite features. So gotta have that on the back. USB Type-C, when I travel now, I can carry one cable and one charging brick. And I've got bilateral wireless charging to charge other stuff. I don't have to bring a ton of different chargers, which is usually the case when I'm with the iPhone, because, you know, Lightning. Killer screen. I love the Samsung screens. I love the way Samsung calibrates their screens. I know it's a personal preference thing. They look incredible. The Note seems like it's redundant with every Samsung phone. It's the best screen I've ever seen on a phone. I like the waterfall design. I love everything about this, so I am pumped for it. In-screen fingerprint reader. I said I wanted Touch ID to come back. I've got it here. It's ultrasonic. Could be a bit finicky. One thing the Note doesn't have that I did want was some sort of Face ID competitor. It's got a face unlock, but it's a single camera setup and a bit unsecure. So that is one thing I'm going to miss from the iPhone. Other things I'm gonna try to use. So S Pen. I'm generally not the biggest like note-taking guy on a phone, but maybe that's because I haven't had a pen to write on my phone that often. So I'm going to be using the S Pen. I'm gonna try it for all its weird camera shutter tricks it can do and magic wandy type stuff that it's got. Beefy battery life. I'm excited for that 12 gigabyte of RAM flex here. And if I can be honest, probably the biggest reason I wanted to do this was the color. The Aura Glow is just super hot. And I'm excited to try it despite it being a fingerprint magnet. Snapdragon 855, I would have liked 855 Plus since that is out and in other phones and is a head scratcher for why it's not in the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus, but that's all right. I don't mind One UI. I think it actually does a really nice job presenting stuff. Samsung's done a better job reducing redundant apps. And I'm gonna get my Android on, and I'm pretty pumped for it to use it. The things that I'm gonna miss, but at some point, You gotta throw that hammer at that walled garden. You gotta break down that glass and step free. And this is the phone that I think might help me step free. So I'm gonna make this full-time switch. I'm not gonna carry a second device with me. The iPhone's getting turned off and going in a drawer. And I'm gonna give it 2 weeks with the Note 10, see what my experience is, and I'm keeping a really open mind. Will I stay with Android? Will I switch back to iPhone when whenever the iPhone 11 comes out? I'm not sure. We'll do a follow-up on this, but I'm excited to try. And I think a lot of folks do this transition behind the scenes. They don't talk about their experiences. Maybe they're embarrassed what people might think, or maybe they're worried about being called out for some sort of fanboy. I don't care that much about that. I am honest and I try to sort of share what I'm doing with you guys. So that's the impetus behind doing this. So I'm gonna share my experience of going Android full-time, and I'll see you guys with the follow-up in about 2 weeks.